What's up, y'all? Jesus Christ. What a day. What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Me against the world. I'm doing pretty good. I'm low key I'm planning on watching this Rick James documentary tonight. Hope everybody in New York is keeping their head up at the moment. Hey Ray Sean. Yo, I definitely got some good albums this fucking week and shit. I plan on going to the vinyl store one more time because I don't know, I feel kind of lucky. Cause I did get some good stuff in DC too, but at the same time, I wish I could have gotten a bit more. Not more, but I wish I found a bit more rarer stuff. Like when I went to Myrtle Beach and shit, but yeah, Bumpy Knuckles, aka Freddie Fox, is very underrated if you ask me. Um, I need to get his very first album, the Crazy Like a Fox album. I need to get that record. I like Becker, but I'm not in the mood. What's the most you'll spend when it comes to vinyls, I'm not gonna lie, the most I would spend is $40. Because at first it was 35, but then I'm not gonna lie, there was some albums I wanted. Excuse me. There was some albums I wanted that I kind of like went above my limit and shit. But when it comes to CDs, the most I would spend is 23. Vinyls is 40. Yeah, Industry Shakedown. That's a very dope album. Very good album. What's up, Vinyl? Someone's car alarm going on. Yeah, I need to get plugs I met though. Need to get that one. I've seen and it's crazy because I've seen that album in stores too. Um, yeah, the joint that was supposed to be like a tribute to Biggie, it couldn't clear, so it got taken off all streaming services. Speaking of Fat Joe, what do y'all think about the Fat Joe Ja Rule verses and shit? I cannot wait for that one. But I'm not gonna lie, I feel like Joe is not gonna play a lot of the hits I want him to play, like a lot of the songs from his classic albums. I feel like he's gonna stick to his 2000s discography, if you ask me. And believe it or not, I got Ja Rule on this one. Believe it or not. Um, yeah, I feel like I don't mind them doing like a lot of East Coast, but let's just give love to the West and the South and shit too, because yeah, the verses with Dipset and Locks was big as fuck. But let's not just stick to that theme and shit. Um, oh, you said Fat Joe will win? Nah, Ja Rule, whether you love him or hate him, he has hits that everyone can vibe to. If he plays his playlist right and not do no Dipset shit, then he could win. I feel like with a lot of Joe Head fans, it's kind of the same thing with the Outcast fans. If you ask me, there's a difference between early Fat Joe fans and latter Fat Joe fans. And I mean by latter, I mean post Don Cartagena, maybe post Just One Still Envy, maybe depending on who you ask. Yeah, Sam, that's your birthday, Sam. September 14th. What is the worst Outcast album? Definitely the Idlewild album. I mean, there was some okay songs, but that album, I have to finish talking about Outkast's discography. It had like a lot of weird songs on it. But in my opinion, with that album, I would not call that album a disappointment. Really, surprisingly, I do love that song, Morris Brown. I love the joint with Snoop and Lil Wayne. That was dope too. It's crazy too because Outkast's last album, when that was released around the same time, that whole snap music was coming out and shit like that too. So talk about the irony of it all, transitioning and shit. What is the worst 50 Cent album? I have to go with Curtis because I never heard before I self-destruct in full. I'm not gonna lie, but Curtis, it was kind of the one that kind of disappointed me the most. Jesus Christ. Just to let you guys know, I did post the next episodes for the Beef series this season. I will do the polls sometime tomorrow. That's going to drop. from New York. Perfect. What are your thoughts on the album? If you're talking about the Firm, the album, I did not like that album. In my opinion, it was a weirdly produced album. A lot of potential, but nah. Yeah, that cause the album cover's trash. The album cover is trash. Yeah, see, with Outkast, man, like despite like a lot of people, saying what they have to say about Outkast when it comes to like the album they dropped in the 90s and 2000s, their discography for the most part has been very good and shit. Like I love Idol, I'm not Idol, I love AT Aliens, I love Equimini, Southern Playalistic, like Thank Coney and Speaker Bucks I like too and shit like that too. But the Idlewild album was just eh. And I do love Big Boy Sir Lucius Left Foot album though. That was a very good one too. Oh, the Parks Life album. Didn't like it. Yeah, Try should be on its way about now. Yeah, not just in hip hop, music wise, one of the greatest duos. Um, um, hmm. Yeah, that Biggie's duets. Oh my god. The album cover alone, I just did not like. Like, what? Is that supposed to be cute? And crazy thing, I've seen that Biggie duets album on vinyl too. That's the crazy shit. From New York. Yeah, like with vinyl being popular again, everybody's trying to really overprice certain albums and shit, which I don't really fucking like. Hell, like when I first started collecting vinyls and shit, the most I would even see a vinyl for was like 30 and shit. Like I saw a copy of the Beatles Abbey Road for like $100. Like that's crazy. If you were a head of a label, what would you do if an executive brings you an idea for Posthumous? Well, first of all, I wouldn't touch the artist's work. Second of all, I would see if he had intended to have that release. So yeah, perfection. Can't get next to you, girl. I gotta finish up a paper by the 7th. Oh shit. Definitely gotta do some homework after I get off this. Yeah, I gotta get some more MOP albums, Sam. Yeah, the Beatles fans, man, shit. Oh yeah, rest in peace to Nene Leak's husband, by the way. What do you think about terrible remixes? I feel like certain songs should not be remixed, in my opinion. See, I have not heard the whole album. My sister said it was pretty good, but I have not heard the whole album yet. Nah, I have a moped. You say you love the TT3 album? Hmm. Oh, yo,
What's good? What's good?
nothing much.
What's good with you, man?
Just talking shit. Ja Rule
What
and
it do?
Fat Joe.
Kristen, what's good, yo? Vinyl and kicks, what up? What's good with y'all, man?
Not much, man. What's good with you?
Chilling, man. My bad. I took a little bit too long. I was on Instagram live and my phone died, so
You good?
you know what I mean? What's good? Sam, what's good, yo? Q, what up?
Yeah, Sam's birthday is the 14th.
September?
Yep. Same day as
We
Ja
need to
Rule
bring
and
him
Fat
on
Joe.
here, yo. Ronnie, what's good? We need to bring him on here. You know what I mean? Sam, you been on here forever, man. You need to come on here and talk with us.
Yeah, you never come on. But for real, I hope all has been well with you and stuff too.
I'm chilling, man. We good over here. We not flooded, yo. I mean, there's certain parts that got flooded. The subways is flooded. I'm not flooded. We good. You know what I'm saying? People had
True.
people hitting me up like, yo, like you good? I'm like, yo, I think the media making it seem like New York, the whole New York City was flooded. It wasn't like that. We got a lot of rain, but certain parts, I got family in Jersey. They got flooded. One of my cousins, his basement got like 4 feet of water. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I got some other peoples out there that's doing good. And yeah, the subways is flooded. Like half of the subways are flooded. By the weekend the water will be gone, hopefully, but I'm good. I ain't get flooded, yo. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the media is saying outside of New York, but we not the whole city is flooded. There's only certain parts.
Well, you know the media.
Yeah. You know?
Don't believe the hype.
I'm like people thinking I'm underwater. I'm like I can swim. So even if that happened, I can still swim. So, you know what I mean? We good over here. He said, Kristen said I bought a copy of the plugs I met. Great. I need to get that. I don't have no Griselda shit. So salute to you for getting that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm trying to get that myself. I was just telling them I was trying to go to the vinyl shop one more time. I feel lucky.
But oh, you got some shit today?
I got some yeah, I got some packages today.
Dope.
Um I'm not gonna lie, it's getting a little bit better. I'm getting
It's
a little
getting
bit more
better?
confident about yeah, this collection. Once I get a few more albums I can find at a good price, then yeah, I think we got something going on.
Now that the rats got they got drowned out. They going, yo. You know
Not
what I'm
the rest.
saying? The rats got drowned out. I'm sorry. Yo, they had like once I seen like many like subway stations that they had the water coming over the train. I never seen no shit like that. And I've been
It's
here all my
crazy.
life. I've never seen water gushing out over the train when it's coming into the station. It was crazy.
That's crazy as hell.
You know what I'm saying? They had water coming out of the walls, bro. I'm like, where is this water coming from? It was like a Niagara Falls, man, in Manhattan. It was just crazy. You know, you could if you was a surfer, you would have been happy to be out there surfing in the streets of New York with with all that water out there. It was that much. You know, what I mean, I'm sorry I ain't buy a boogie board because it was just crazy.
Shit. I'm listening now. I'm gonna step to the bathroom right quick.
Yeah. Have I seen MOP? Yes, I saw MOP in 2019. They were dope. You know, they did a lot of their songs. Cold as Ice, Annie Up. What else they did? I think Downtown Swinger. They were good. It's crazy, man. If I was a record exec, what would I do to a posthumous album? What you mean? I wouldn't do one. I would just put out the original recordings like it was intended from whatever artist it was that we had on the label, whether it was Jimi Hendrix or John Lennon, Tupac, whoever. Just because I feel like now the labels are just, when you tinker with that artist's music after they pass away, it's like it's not authentic. You as a fan, you want it to come out the way it was intended, the way that they made it, the original sessions. That's how I would release it. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even give them like a new cover art. I just give them like a vintage picture from that artist, and that's how you release it. But when they go in the studio and they mess around with Michael Jackson songs, and we find out later it's not even Michael Jackson singing those songs. It's like it's like a distrust with the consumer. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like they're deceiving us by thinking, oh, if you come out with an album named Michael and we think it's Michael Jackson vocals and it's not really Michael singing, that's like a distrust between the label and the fans. You know? What's the last album I bought on physical? I can't talk. I can't say right now because we didn't do the collection vid yet. When we do the collection stream, then you gonna know my latest pickups and what I got on vinyl and what I got on CD, stuff like that. How would I control it? Yeah, like that. Like I would just make sure the OG recordings are released by that artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Top three songs by from Firing Squad. Stick to Your Guns. World Famous. That's hard, man. I love the whole album, man. That's a hard one. What would be my third one?
Downtown Swinger. Ooh.
I said Downtown Swinger. Well, when I saw them, they performed that. But yeah, there's so many like gems on that album though.
Am I
Yeah, I
still
wouldn't
up?
put no collabs. Unless they already had it, I wouldn't put no collabs on there. They don't need no new features, and they don't need all that. I didn't like none. I don't like none of the Michael Posthumous albums. None.
No, I
Not
thought you left
Escape.
the
I have the Michael one, but that one I got as a gift for Christmas when it came out. But I don't play it though. I don't, cause there's issues with that album and people saying it's not even his vocals on that album, and they added like 50 Cent and Lenny. Even though I think he did do stuff with 50 before he passed away, but who knows if that's even Michael singing on the album?
right.
You know, Prince versus MJ. I'm not picking. I love both of them. You got Prince over MJ. Okay.
First Family for Life, Handle Your Business. Yeah, that was a good one, man.
That was great too. Brownsville joint. Revolution or NPG? I'm more of
Revolution.
Revolution. Yeah, I'm more of Revolution than NPG. Even though he had some good joints with the NPG, but I think Revolution. It was more like him.
Right.
He had more like classic stuff with the Revolution to me. If I had to pick one, I can't, man, because I grew up with both of them in the '80s. So both of them and Madonna, those three are like my favorites all time. Those are like musical gods to me. I didn't know Kyle had a new album out. What's the name of it?
So the Silk Sonic album is coming out next year, and Bootsy
Yeah,
Collins is in it.
yep, January. Hey, he's hosting the album out here
Oh wow,
because he came up with the name for them. Silk Sonic, that's his name.
interesting.
Yep, he's on the intro. The intro is out already though. The intro is on their YouTube channel.
Oh wow, okay.
It's been out for. It came out the same time as Leave the Door
Escape.
Open. Leave the
Oh,
door open. Yeah, but for whatever reason, I mean, it was just the intro. But he's on the intro, like he starts the album off.
I'ma leave it oh.
Do you guys have any DVDs? What kind? I have all kind of DVDs.
Yeah, I got all kinds too.
I did a
TV.
DVD. I did a DVD collection vid on my channel. You didn't check that one out? I did like two. I did like a movie collection and like live concert DVDs. I did like two collection vids. What's good, Blocker? How you doing?
What's up, Blocker?
Reward. Marty's Reward. I'm gonna check that out.
I'm ready to start whenever you are.
Let's go.
What's up, you too? How's everyone doing this lovely, lovely now it's about Thursday night. It's your boy Reg in the building. Got my homeboy Tribe with me.
What up?
Today we are going to talk about Ja Rule's sixth studio album R.U.L.E, which I'm about to pull up the album cover right now.
I had it. I got rid of it because
Oh shit.
no.
Yeah, this album came out in November 9th of 2004 on the Ink, which is on the Def Jam Records. Singles known for was Wonderful, New York, and Caught Up. Producers include Irv Gotti, Cool and Dre, Chink Santana, and Jimi Kendrix. Guest appearances include Black Child, R. Kelly, Ashanti, Fat Joe, Jadakiss, Claudette Ortiz, Lloyd, Trick Daddy, Chink Santana, Cadillac Todd, and Young Merc. Alright, so after the release of Blood in My Eyes, now everybody was pretty much saying that Ja Rule was pretty much over, he was done, and stuff like that. But at the same time, Murder Inc. Records was going through their ordeal because, like, with the Ja Rule and 50 Cent beef happening and stuff like that too.
Man,
You know, Ja, they didn't make no secret that they got their money from like Kenneth Supreme McGriff and shit like that. You know what I'm
but they
saying?
messed up doing. They messed up even mentioning that though.
Exactly.
Cause you know what happened later with the Gotti brothers.
Yes. Yep. And so yeah, they messed up doing that shit. So pretty much on early 2003, they got the offices raided and shit like that. And this pretty much was again one of the reasons why Ja was not really responding a lot to 50 Cent and stuff like that too. And so around this time too, once they got all the charges, they beat the case and everything like that, Irv Gotti pretty much wanted to have a newer vibe when it came to Murder Inc. So he dropped the Murder from Murder Inc. and he went by the Inc. and shit like that. And around this time too, they signed a young R&B singer by the name of Lloyd and shit like that too. Who is on this album as well. And where does that leave Ja Rule? So Ja Rule pretty much he needed a comeback. Pretty much, his label was in shambles. 50 was roasting him and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So he wanted pretty much like go back to the basics with this album. You know, he invited Ashanti back. He had that song Wonderful, which came out. That was like a big song back in '04. I love that song to this day. We're gonna get into that in a minute. But he kind of added more fuel to the fire. I'm gonna try to get into that in a minute. But yeah, this is the album cover right here. Pretty basic. Ja Rule just looking hard and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be the first to say this. I kind of compare this album a little bit to Jada Kiss of Death
Oh Lord.
because I feel like with this album it screams 2004 in a good way in comparison to Kiss of Death, which screams 2004 in a bad way. So that's all I gotta say for right now. Yeah, man. Because if you listen to this album, you'll just automatically go back to like the mid 2000s, with them synth kind of beat, the acoustic guitar, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this album has 18 tracks. Let's get this shit started. Track number one, the intro, pretty much just like a church kind of intro and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Just about Ja Rule, praying and stuff like that. He just talking about how what happens tomorrow. It's gonna always happen in the future and shit. So yeah, that's what I got from it.
I didn't like this intro. This intro didn't fit this album. This intro should have been on Last Temptation, because if you remember the
Yeah,
album booklet, and when you take out the CD and you see like the picture of him getting baptized, that's what it
yeah,
sounded like to me. He should have did fit that intro for Last Temptation. Not this album. I was like, nah, you put the wrong intro on this album, and I'm like, nah, I didn't care for it.
yeah. I definitely agree with you about the Last Temptation and shit like that too. I personally feel like he did this intro because like rising from the dead, like comparing himself as Jesus or some shit
But
like that.
but he, I mean, in 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 whose opinion? In his opinion, or in the public opinion, was he dead and came back? I don't ever feel like he died. I feel like he got crucified for doing what 50 was doing. And 50 was smart about it, and he rode that wave, and the crowd, he did Ja Rule's fans on his side, so everybody automatically turned on Ja. I never felt like Ja died. I felt like he came back with the last album we talked about, with Blood in My Eye. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't
Yeah,
laying down. He wasn't gonna lay down for 50, even though in public opinion, people would say at that time that 50 was kicking his ass. But to me, I never felt like he just went off and died. I just feel like a lot of stuff happened, especially with Gotti and the label, that was like the fall of Murder Inc. because of them using the drug money from Supreme to fund the label. So that really messed up John Ashanti in terms of music. But I don't feel like he died. I just feel like he didn't capitalize like he should have.
that's an interesting point and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, that's interesting as hell. But at that time, with the Murder Inc. crumbling, a lot of hip hop fans they always quick to the new thing and shit like that. And I guess people got tired of the whole love song shit. They wanted to be all hard in the streets and shit. You know what I'm
They
saying?
got right, and like I said, 50 capitalized with Wankster, and even before then, when we go to the mixtapes, and he made it known that he was talking about Ja Rule and Murder Inc. You know what I'm saying? They were doing diss songs on their mixtapes early, so people knew ahead of time. By the time he got to Shady Aftermath, people already knew the beef with him and Ja Rule and what it was about. So when he came out with the video for Gangsta and that blew up, and people really didn't expect that to blow up, and then in the club it was a wrap from after that, and he
Right.
capitalized on that and took advantage of it.
Definitely agree with you on that. All right. So now we want to get into Last of the Mohicans, featuring Black Child. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really. This song was okay. I guess the Mohicans was like a Native American tribe.
Yes,
They were okay. Yeah, it was okay. I don't believe it should have started the album.
I don't like it.
Like okay,
Do
yeah,
not like it. No, there's a lot of songs on this album I don't like.
same. So now we're gonna get into Wonderful, featuring R. Kelly and Ashanti. Definitely one of my favorite Ja Rule songs. Period. You know, just that chorus by R. Kelly. If it wasn't for the money, cars, and movie stars, and children, all the things I've got,
Uh,
I wonder. Like this might be like one of his like best R&B influenced joints. and shit like that. Mostly because of that chorus from R. Kelly. That oh, like it can't be the 2000s without that ad lib and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like everybody was using that ad lib. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So yeah, pretty much like this song right here was definitely dope. They had a remix to this song too on Ashanti's Concrete Rose album, and there was like an additional verse from Ja Rule and an additional verse from what's her name, Ashanti too. So yeah, man. So this one was a very, 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 very dope song. I like it. Yeah,
it's okay. I think I don't know. It's not one of my favorite R. Kelly collabs. I think it was okay.
yeah. I definitely hear your point about that. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Now we're gonna get into what's my name. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like by '04, the whole "What's my name" template in hip hop was kind of getting played out.
Right.
Like everybody from like Bow Wow
Snoop
to
Dogg.
Snoop,
Mm-hmm.
huh?
Now I would say Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, to Snoop,
Yep.
um, DMX. Like it was just kind
Mm-hmm.
of getting played out by '04,
Right.
and yeah, this sounds like something he could have done for Pain is Love, Last
Right.
Temptation at least.
Right.
So I didn't care for this joint.
It's okay. It's, I don't got too much to say about it. It's okay.
Yeah. Now we're gonna get into because I'm from New York, New York. Possibly one of my favorite track, maybe my favorite track off this album, possibly next to another track, which I'm gonna get into that. It features Fat Joe and Jadakiss. Originally, this was a Jadakiss song. Originally,
Was it?
yeah, no, not
Really?
Jadakiss, Fat Joe. It was a
Oh,
Fat
Fat
Joe
Joe.
song.
Wow.
Yeah, but cause but Joe he kind of returned the favor for the "What's Love" song
Right.
and shit like that. So he gave it to Ja Rule and stuff like that. And they were trying to beg Jadakiss because I think Jadakiss originally did not want to do this track. The greatest
Really?
rapper of all time.
The
Yeah,
goat. Oh
yeah,
man.
man. But this song sparked some controversy because Ja Rule he threw some shots at 50 Cent with his verse, of course, and 50 Cent pretty much dissed Fat Joe. He brought Fat Joe and Jadakiss in the beef because he was just like, y'all
Mm-hmm.
doing a song with Ja Rule, so he dissed
Right.
them on the Piggy Bank track.
Mm-hmm.
And shit. Ja Rule he had a line like saying, "Your monologue's getting tired. Now it's time to ride. Apprentice, your fire. You're no longer desired. So take them off from silly chains. Put back on your wife. I'm on fire. Harley dipped in octane and shit. You know what I'm saying?"
Right.
But in my opinion, I feel like Jada had the best verse. In my opinion,
Yes, definitely.
yeah. Especially when he said, "I still hold the title because I'm in the hood, like them little motorcycles, stick up kids hopping out with them old rifles,
Mm.
just doing shit for nothing. It's so spiteful, huh? I'm just like you."
Mm.
Like that's the Jada Kiss I fucking love and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
And dare I say, this is actually one of the better Cool and Dre beats I like, even though I was a Cool and Dre fan. I did like the way they did his beats, and also they sampled or interpolated the BDP song 100 Guns from
Right.
Edutainment.
Right.
Very
Right.
dope album, very dope song. Yes, damn. Checkmate is one of my favorite diss tracks. He killed 50 on that one.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about New York. It's a very
I think it's
important.
definitely the best track on this album by far.
Yes.
Um, when the song came out, the South was really big. You got a lot of Southern artists were blown up on the charts, and I felt like with the exception of 50 and Dipset, like and of course Jay, with the exception of those artists, New York was being an afterthought in hip hop. Like it was all about the South, and on the West game was blowing up already, and I felt like New York was becoming irrelevant with in rap. A lot of cats wasn't dropping no more. You had the mixtape artists, but it wasn't even really big. Except for like a couple of them. But I feel like this is like one of the last great New York posse joints from the 2000s, and you know, all three legendary. Fat Joe a legend. Can't wait to see that versus with him and Ja Rule. I think he's gonna win.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know about that.
I love Ja. I don't think he fucking with Fat Joe's first three albums though. I think
But that's the
when
thing.
when you put represent Jealous One's Envy and Don't Cut a Jenna, I don't think I love Ja Rule's first four. I don't think none of them is fucking with those albums.
But that's the thing. Do you think Joe will play a lot of those songs from those albums though?
If he's smart, he will. What he gonna play that crap he did in the 2000s when he was trying to sound like the southern rappers like
I
Jeezy?
feel like I feel like he's gonna play a lot of. I come to think about, it, I feel like he's gonna play a little bit of the '90s shit. But if he plays the
Nah, man.
'90s shit, it's gonna be like a lot of the Terror Squad, like Big Pun shit. He's not really going. He's not really going to
Well,
touch Represent unless if it's like FloJo. That's
he
only if he remembers that shit.
he has a dilemma because if you play the Terror Squad shit, you're not fucking with none of them people in Terror Squad right now. You know what I'm saying? So what do you just
Oh,
play?
really?
Your verse and that's it? You know what I'm saying? So everybody that Pun bought to Terror Squad, he's not fucking with. So he's gonna have a dilemma. I think the two Terror Squad albums will fire, especially the first one with the original lineup. You know what I'm saying? Then to me, he gotta mix it up. You gotta have your '90s shit because his '90s shit was great, and then the big hits from the 2000s and 2010s. That's how you win. If you just go with the 2000s shit, then Ja Rule gonna win to me.
But
If
that's
he
the thing
doesn't
though.
play anything for Represent and Jealous One's Envy and Don Cartagena, Ja Rule's
He's
gonna
gonna
win that.
lose. Exactly. I feel like somebody's gonna dipset their playlist and shit. That's what I feel like.
And for him, it's like the three albums in the '90s. He didn't have big hits, but he had album bangers. You hear like South Bronx with KRS One, that shit was a banger. You know what I'm saying? When you hear from the Don Cartagena album, like the triplets joint, that shit was fire. Or that gangster shit. Like if he play album bangs from those three albums, like, he could win. But if he fuck up and he just play all that trash he was coming with from the 2000s and you know what I mean, like that era when 50 was going at him and 50 was dropping the Elephant in the Sand mixtapes and shit, he gonna lose. I didn't like none of his shit in the 2000s after Lean Back. I didn't like none of those other albums because he was trying to sound like down south artist and he was living in Miami. He
Right.
still lived on it. Like he was. That's where I met him. I met him in Miami actually. You know what I'm saying? Like he was doing what Rick Ross and Jeezy and them was trying to do, and that was the whole thing about the New York artists at that time. They were like, yo, like why are these artists up here trying to sound like down south artists? Because down south was running. They were running the charts at that point. When you have Flow
Exactly.
Rider, when you have Flow Rider, and you had Pitbull, and Ross was doing shit, and Jeezy and Rick Ross and Weezy and all them. You know what I mean? Like they were running the charts up here, and that's what it was about. And we had some of our artists trying to sound like them. So if we drop all that other garbage from the 2000s, and I think Ja Rule gonna win. But he gotta be smart, and he gotta mix it with the '90s shit and his big hits like What's Love and We Thuggin' and the shit the what is it the All the Way Up. You know what I'm saying? Even the joint he did now, recently with the Luther Vandross sample, and he didn't clear the samples for none of those songs. Then you got it. Then you could win. But if you play all that bullshit that he was doing in the 2000s from Jealous One's Envy 2 and the what's the album he did with the shit with Weezy, the Make It Rain or whatever. That album was terrible. You
Me
know what I'm
myself.
saying? Right. That album was terrible. Big hit song, but terrible album. So if we do that shit, Ja Rule's gonna win. So he gotta be smart about it and mix it up. Salute to Legions, yo. What's good?
What's up, Legion?
Ja Rule is awful. I love Ja Rule, man. I fuck with both of these artists. I just feel like, you know, it, Ja Rule don't make music anymore. I think he had his solid 4 album run, and that was it. Fat Joe's still doing music. He's still relevant. But even with him, he hasn't had a classic album in forever.
Right. Anyway, now we're gonna get into the stripping game skit. I didn't really care for the skits really on this album.
I didn't care for the skit.
Alright. Now we're gonna get into The Manual. Um, this was an okay song. It's pretty much him saying, "Don't be quick to wipe these chicks." Like sometimes you gotta let a hoe be a hoe and a housewife be a housewife. You can't mix the two together. Um, yeah, I'm good. I'm just,
Red smoking that good shit, yo.
yeah, but yeah. I'm watching some cartoon movie and shit. Like,
Oh man,
yeah, but
be funny.
yeah, the manual. It's pretty much. It's not a bad song, but I feel like the beat could have been much more better. But yeah,
I wanted to go back to New York, New York. I gotta go back to New York, New York for a minute, and I want to quote some Jada verses because he is the goat, right? you know, um,
hey
what
man,
he said. Word that niggas Mercury is in the air, double shot of yak and the purple is in the air, and I'm not cocky, I'm confident. So when you tell me I'm the best, it's a compliment. I love that shit. He had the best verse by far, best verse on the whole album compared to any other collabs on this album. Jada had the best verse on this whole album. I
I
loved it.
agree.
That's one of his best verses on any collab.
I agree.
This song was in the manual. I didn't care for it. I thought it had a nice beat, but that's about it.
Yeah, get it started featuring Claudette Ortiz. This song. It rem. It remind. You ever seen the Fat Albert movie, the live action movie?
With
What?
what's his name? Keenan, Kel,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They had that one scene where they kind of remixed the Hey 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 song, made it like a 2000s kind of ordeal.
yeah,
This song kind of reminds me of that, pretty much, and not in a good way. Like
yeah.
it's like one of those songs that feels like 2004. Like Claudette Ortiz, what the
And
fuck she came from and shit. I mean,
I didn't like it.
yeah,
No,
I
no good. Not a good song.
yeah, R.U.L.E. Again, another decent song, kind of like a braggadocio song in my opinion. So not memorable but decent.
No, I didn't like it.
You like this one?
Whack. No.
Oh damn. Um, then we're gonna get into I here for True Story skit. That's the one
Whack.
with the Bernie Mac
Yeah.
down his mother.
Where did they get that Bernie Mac shit? Where he's talking about the he's talking about the women's body parts and stuff. Where was that from?
I feel like that was that nigga Rev
Uh,
and shit like that. But yeah, I didn't care for that skit.
yeah. Did not like it. Did not
Yeah.
like it.
Caught Up featuring Lloyd. Ah, decent.
I never liked Lloyd. I always thought he was overrated. I never felt like he could sing. That I don't care for him.
Yeah. I mean, I like Lloyd. I
You like
like some of
Lloyd?
Lloyd's shit. Yeah, like
You have any of his albums? You ever bought any
nah,
of his albums? I
nah,
never bought any of his shit.
nah, man. I've only saw one of his albums in stores. That was the South Side album and shit. I remember that song was so big back in 04, 05.
Yeah, I like. He had one song he did with Wheezy when Wheezy was all over the
Yes,
place, and the video was like real trippy. It's like moon and stars in the background and shit.
bro. I thought I was the only one. Do you
That
want to do a what the fuck on that video after?
that joint was decent, and I
Yeah,
don't. It's
let's do
probably because Wheezy it made everything better when he
top.
was on it. Cause he
Yeah,
did shit with Danny D Kane, and I never liked Danny D Kane, but anything he was on, Weezy made the song. He elevated the song to a big hit. But other than that, I never liked nothing from Lloyd. I never bought none of his shit.
can I be your friend? That was a
yeah,
big joint. That was like number one on 106 Park for
yeah,
like how
yes,
long?
that's what I'm saying. And they
Uh,
took the Eric B and Rakim beat.
for girls around.
Yes,
Cause Wayne bit most of Rakim's lines.
right,
Yeah, I'm thinking of a master plan. Nah,
mm-hmm,
I'm not.
right,
Sorry, I'm like,
yeah,
come on, Wayne. Come on. And you're supposed to be the best rapper alive. I'm like, you buying
right,
off Rakim and shit?
right.
Rakim?
Yeah, do
Anyway,
a song with them at least. You know what I mean?
right. Have him on the remix or some shit. Have Rakim spit that "What's on your mind" kind of flow and shit. You know. Let me stop. Now we're gonna get into Gun Talk featuring Black Child. I'm not gonna lie, Black Child done some of his best rapping on this album and the Indie Jai album.
You think so?
This yeah,
Out of any, hold up, you think this is best out of any other job album?
this and Blood in My Eye.
I think he was better. Well, I've always think Black Child was good. I think his raps were better on Rule 36 and Last Temptation.
You would pick those out. You would pick Temptation and shit.
That album is better than this one. Last Temptation. Now you see the difference. That album was way better than this. I don't. Yo, man, this album is not good.
Yeah, yeah. I'm surprised you said this album is not good.
No, it's not. I can see why I got rid of it many years ago. Like other than the New York song and maybe two others, I don't remember nothing else on this album.
Hmm. Yeah, man. Anyway, now we're gonna get into Never Thought. Like I never thought Try would not like this album though.
Hey, I told you I love Ja Rule, but he have a bad album or two though.
So, shit, I
Gun
feel
Talk,
you.
you like Gun Talk?
Gun Talk was decent. It was decent.
This was dope. I actually heard this song when we used to have the Smack DVDs and like when the menu came up for the DVD. Like there was one. I know it was one DVD. Might have been with Eminem or 50 Cent, and they played the instrumental for this song on the menu when it came up on the screen. So I remember this song from that. But I thought it was a dope song. It's a dope hard track. They got like gunshots going off in the background. It reminded me of the Bone Thugs and Pac collab, Thug Love. I like the pianos on it. Black Child has always killed his features. He said, "Young and corrupted, nothing to fuck with. Straight out the gutter with no introduction." Loved his verse. That's about it. That's the only good thing I like about the song. It was a hard track. This sounds like a Murder Inc. track. You know, this could have been
Right.
on any one of Ja's earlier albums. So
Definitely. Now we're gonna get into Life Goes On featuring Mr. Ass Eater himself, Trick Daddy, and Ching Santana. Um, kind of boring. I got what he was trying to do and shit like that. You know, Carl talking about niggas going through the struggle, but this one was kind of boring track. I don't know
like,
if it was just
I
yeah.
ain't like it.
All right, now we're gonna get into the weed skit. Um, too long, too long, and
Trash.
too boring.
Yeah,
Fucking motherfucking James Earl Jones. Like,
it's
come up with
crazy.
the best from Earth skit, nigga. Mario Van P. Like, shut up.
Blocker
Like,
said Ja got 8 albums. What's the 8 albums? Cause I'm only counting 6, unless you counting the Murderers joint. And then what's the 8th one? Do you count the
probably
compilation too?
no
Well, I don't know the eighth album you got then.
shit. Hell, man, that pain is level two. If you talking about
Yeah,
the Emily Exodus, hell, no.
trash.
I never heard pain is level two. That's the thing.
Yeah, I heard on that Piff. It's not good. It's not
Where
good.
I'm now we're gonna have where I'm from. This one was good. It's also featured Lloyd too. John was just talking about, people in his environment and shit like that, going through what they're going through. I liked it. It's decent.
This one was cool. I like the pianos on it, the flute sample on it, the beat. I don't care for Lloyd. I think he could. They could have picked Neo or somebody else for the chorus. But I like the song. Josh saying, "If I'm wrong, then pardon me. I'm just tired of poverty. Why do niggas in the hood never hit the lottery?" So I think it was like a real heartfelt track, and more serious tone to the song. So that was dope.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna have About My Business featuring Young Merc, Cadillac Town, Black Child. Decent. I don't really care for this posse album.
This joint I like. Again, this is another type of Murder Inc. type of track. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, I don't know what happened with the rest of the album, but this joint is banging track, nice beats, nice horns on it. Black Child again stole the show. He says my hoes don't speak English. Catch him at the foreign money exchange. New army leather in the range. When you see my gang, tuck in your chain. We stuck in the game. We fucking insane. Fire joint. I like that joint.
Definitely. And the last joint, Passion, I did not like this track. It was a bit too long. Um, it's like with the subject matter, it was repetitive and shit too and stuff. I'm just like, yeah, it was a bit too long. I didn't even care for this one.
I think I heard the mirror, but both of those were like after Murder Inc. folded and he went to jail for like was it like 3 years? He went to jail. He ended up
Yeah,
going to jail for something after Gotti and his brother got in trouble or whatever. But the mirror, I remember that shit. I don't know even remember none of those songs on there. Painter's Love 2, I remember like one song on there because he sampled the Suzanne Vega Tom's Diner track. That's the only good song I liked on Painter's Love 2. Everything else was trash. So like I said, his first four to me are his best. Everything after did not care for. And that last track I didn't like.
yeah. I didn't know the mirror came out. I thought that was unreleased.
I believe that's still on that piff. It might still be on there.
Oh wow, shit. Do you want to talk about that album or no?
The last two, that would be trash reviews.
I know.
You know what I mean? It's up to you. That'd be a double trash review.
Shit, I guess so. I mean, I did say I was going to talk about all his albums and shit.
This is a trash album too. This should have been a trash review.
This
You see,
album,
I remember the album, and I remember after hearing it again because it's been years. I remember why I got rid of it when it came out. I'm like, yeah, this. I remember why I got rid of the shit.
yeah, this album was decent, but it could have been better in some parts. Some of the production didn't have that usual jaw fire, and it needed. I kind of feel like I'm not gonna lie, people got so caught up with the singles. Like, is it better than Blood in My Eye?
Hell no, hell no. That's still better.
I'm sorry, yeah, it's not better than Blood in My Eye. And I didn't even give Blood in My Eye that good of a rating and
Right,
shit like that, but
right.
because everyone was saying this is like a good job album, but this album was just Ja Rule light. That's the best. It was like Murder Inc. light. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't have that usual flair.
Right.
It's like the moment they could have really came out swinging and hard and shit like that. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
right.
They dropped the ball.
Yep.
So I'm gonna give this like a 2 mics.
You're being more generous than me. I'm giving this album a 1.5. One of the worst Ja Rule albums ever. Now I see why I got rid of it when I did because I remember it being so bad. Now after so many years not playing it and nah. New York to me is still the best track on here. About My Business was dope and where I'm from those actually sound like vintage Ja Rule tracks, but everything else was whack. The production was awful. It was boring. It was like the same formula he used. I felt like he elevated in the past with his first four. He didn't do that with this album. So I'm giving it 1.5.
Shit. All right. So I'm just gonna do like a little quick what the fuck.
Major move right here, baby. You gotta get with it.
That's the video?
Yeah.
No, not that one. It's another one he did.
Oh, Girls Around the World.
Yes, with the it had like the outer space background.
Okay, okay. I
That
know
that
what
joint
you
I actually like. Yeah. Damn, how many joints he did with Weezy?
a lot.
And he didn't come out with an album with him, like a Weezy Banks album or some shit.
Nah.
Wow. Well, Lil Wayne was supposed to do collab albums with everybody at that point. Yeah, this joint. I remember this joint.
I just
Oh
wanted to
man.
feel. Started for like 8 seconds and shit.
Wasn't a fan. Blocker said Veni Vidi and Ruthie. Yeah, most people would say those first two are his best albums. They're great. I love the great those two albums.
My D. Shit. So I'm about to download Showtime again tonight.
The app,
Yeah, so I can watch this
Eric,
with James.
Eric was good.
Hey, Eric.
That's gonna
Thank
be
you.
yeah, but that's gonna be on streaming. You don't need it though. It's gonna be on streaming.
Yeah, but me personally, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of do want to watch it tonight. What if it's not on that website and shit?
But it's coming out tomorrow though.
Yeah, tomorrow's today.
Oh, you want to watch it at midnight?
Yeah, I'm not one of them
Oh,
niggas.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, well yeah. If you want to watch it at midnight, then it'll be on the app. But if you want to watch it on when it come on regular streaming, you can just watch it like tomorrow afternoon. It'll probably be on there by then.
nah, this I nah.
You in a rush to really see this documentary?
Yeah, because this like it cause I've been waiting for a documentary like this and shit.
Right. I forgot it was coming out. Totally forgot.
That is if it's not on Fire Stick. But
But
yeah,
no, that's what I'm talking about. It's gonna be on Fire Stick. But it'll probably being that the non Showtime apps. It'll probably be on there by either 3 a.m. Sometimes they do that or tomorrow afternoon. But on
got
Showtime app, you got it at midnight.
got you.
So
All right,
the subscribers get it early before everybody else.
fuck that.
Oh man.
Hmm.
Yo,
So Drake's album comes out tonight.
you excited for that?
Nope,
A Drake live album reaction.
nope. I already said I'm not doing no
I haven't
reaction.
even seen no track listing or anything for it, so I don't know who's on there.
I'm gonna
The
pull
album
it
cover
right.
sucks already. The album cover sucks already. So if the album sounds anything like how the album cover looks, oh yeah, but Kanye definitely beating Drake. I think he's gonna have some surprises on there. I would be shocked. Who's the most rapper that bit off another rapper? Jay Z bit a lot of Biggie Smalls lines.
The
A
album's not
lot.
even on Spotify.
It's not on. It's not on there yet.
Nah,
And he has no track list.
nope. Hold
Jay
on.
Z bit off a lot of Big's lines in different songs over the years, man. You know, I think Nas mentioned that in Ether. He mentioned that shit in the Ether song. I'm just curious to hear the Drake album, you know, cause that seems to be like the battle this weekend.
Of course, niggas are already waiting. So yo, where this album at and shit.
And then Kendrick is after. BJ, what's good? Somebody people been asking for you. You missed us talking about your GOAT MC Jada. Ja Rule, you think is the most? I don't. Hell no. In terms of what of style? If you talking about like looks, then you know people will say yes, Tupac. But I don't think he bit off of people like that. Not compared to Jay Z. Jay Z bit off more people than that.
Favorite that's a Sonic album. Hmm. I'm going with In Cool Gear.
Sonic was on. They did an interview today with Sway in the morning.
Oh, that's what's up.
Cause they got a new album coming out.
Oh
They back
shit.
together. Yeah, they back together. They got a new album dropping after like what 30 something years.
Literally 30 years, because the
Yeah,
last one, Blood, Sweat, Tears, came out in 91.
right. So after 30 years, they got a new album coming out.
Talking all that jazz. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
Yes, I will. I will listen to that second half of Hitler 8. I think he's gonna have some some dope songs in there, and probably some surprise collabs or something. So yeah, the first part was dope, and I'll check out part two when it come out. Drake trying to sound like Ja Rule. Oh God.
Watch it. Everyone can call that shit album of the year. Watch.
Which one? Drake?
Yep.
Nah. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, man. 80s artists who deserve to be in the 80s rap artists or just artists in general. And for me, I'm going with New Edition because it's been over 30 years for them. They deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. If we talking outside of rap, if we talking rap, definitely got to be KRS One and BDP. They should be in it. You know, that's just in my opinion.
I might have to go with Whitney Houston. Wait.
I thought Whitney was in there already.
Yeah, she's already in there. Man, I forgot. I might actually have to go with in terms of '80s artists. Maybe Big Daddy Kane.
Rock and Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
He'll get in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame. I don't think they're gonna recognize him in rock.
there's a lot of artists that don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, well, that's another thing. But they want to keep it as rock as possible, and then the rap ones that they do induct, those are the ones that were commercially big or had like a major impact. That's why I said, KRS One. You know, everybody not gonna get in. Even if we think an artist like EPMD should get in, they're not gonna get in there. They're not gonna recognize them because of they album sales, and maybe they might feel like they didn't have a major impact on mainstream. But we as hip hop in the community think that they are Hall of Famers, and gangstar groups like that. They might not recognize EPMD. You know what I'm saying? Blocker said, can we do I think we did do an album review for the coming. Didn't we do that one?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. We did a that might have been like last year or year before last. Rome Streets and Stove Guard are dope, definitely dope artists. I love all of their projects, and I'm glad that they're with Griselda. Griselda just signing the right people, so they got Boldy James, you got Amani Caesar, you got Rome Streets and Stove Guard. They got a nice little roster that they building. Stove Guard, to me, like I said, I think he was the star of Hitler 8. He's on like 5 of the 13 tracks, and he killed every one of them. So I think that's a great signing for both of them. Mark Hami's also on there. One of the best albums this year. Tina Marie, Sade, the Fat Boys, the System. You think the System gonna get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I only know like one song from the System. Shaka Khan, definitely. Shaka Khan, they passed up like twice already, I think. Phil Collins, definitely.
De La Soul.
De La definitely should be in there. Cypress Hill definitely should be in there. Onyx, they're not gonna look at. Even though we in the community again, like who we think should be in there and who they're picking, they're looking at mainstream and overall impact. So it all depends on how they look at Onyx if they were like a mainstream success. I guess you could say that definitely for their first album, being that you had a lot of the rock the rock audience, gravitate to them, and they were on different festivals, Lollapalooza and all that. They did stuff with like Biohazard. So it all depends on. I think If anything, it'll be because of that first album. You know, I don't know how they look at Onyx.
Yeah, I feel like they'll be a bit too hip hop for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. So a lot of artists are gonna be too hip hop for them.
I feel like Wu Tang have a better chance than
Yeah,
on it.
because they had a huge impact on the game and overall in mainstream. That's a definite. That they should be announcing that next year. Outkast, another group that definitely deserves the first ballot. Bone Thugs and Harmony. That's right in their backyard. Like, they had a huge impact on mainstream after a while. What about the 2000s artists? 2000s rap artists? I think it's still too soon though.
Very soon.
I mean,
I feel like
if anybody, I would definitely pick 50 Cent and Kanye. I think they
I'm
definitely
also
going.
gonna say Kanye.
Huh?
I was just gonna say Kanye too.
Yes, I definitely feel like Kanye's on his way in 50 because they had a huge impact on mainstream. Nelly, I don't know, maybe even Ja Rule. Ja Rule had a huge success in mainstream. Even Ja Rule might have a chance. Eminem definitely, but he came out in the '90s, like late '90s. Was good, Cruz. Yeah, we need our own Hall of Fame, so our artists could get in.
Show respect to those artists. Yes.
Right. You know, when they don't induct EPMD and Gangstar, we'll induct them.
I'm about to stay on for another 7 minutes now.
R&B. Well, I said no addition. As far as groups, I definitely think no addition needs to be in there. When you get to the '90s, I don't know. It's wide open because TLC definitely needs to be in there. Um, I don't know, like for groups like Guy or Blackstreet, SWV. I don't think they're gonna pick them.
Boys to Men.
Boys to Men definitely. Jodeci, what about them?
Yeah, I would say Josie.
Or Borderline?
Borderline.
Yeah. You
Oh, you
know,
gonna say Tony?
right? Yeah, Tony, definitely. Um, when you get to like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, are they making it?
Hell no.
98
Hell no.
degrees? Then
No.
112? Nah, I don't. 112 ain't gonna make it.
No. I love 112,
I love
but
112. Nah, they're not making it.
they weren't. I like them, but they weren't really impactful as
Right.
Boys to Men or even Jodeci.
Aaliyah definitely will make it.
Of course,
Definitely,
dude.
because
Of course.
everybody loved Aaliyah. She had like universal success. Definitely Aaliyah. They should have inducted her a long time ago. You know, definitely Aaliyah. Jagged Edge, nah, they're not making it.
Hell no.
Phyllis Hyman, Stephanie Mills, Stephanie definitely. Phyllis Hyman, is she borderline or is she making it?
To be honest, I feel like Phils would make it before Stephanie.
Before Stephanie,
Yeah.
those are good.
The Gap Band, I feel like would be there.
Gap Band, right? Uncle Charlie, the OJ's,
They already there.
Teddy Pendergrass, he's there already, right?
Nah.
Teddy's not there yet.
Nah.
He bugging. He's slow, man. They need to have Teddy in there, man. George Michael, is he in there?
No.
No, George Michael definitely needs to be in there. Wow. And Taste the Honey. I love they album.
Yeah, I like that
I don't
Suki song.
I don't think they're gonna make it though. But they were great though. Underrated. Michael Jackson's already in there.
Twice.
Yeah. Phyllis Simon won't make it because she never got the credit she deserved her entire career. Mariah definitely will make it. That's a given. Rick James is not in
No,
there yet? I thought Rick James was in there already.
no, he's not.
He's not in there yet?
No.
Wow. Who the hell were they picking? They were
Mhm.
rushing. I love Green Day, but they were rushing to get Green Day in their first ballot over Rick James? That's crazy. Jade? Yeah,
Zapp
Jade
and
was
Roger.
dope, but they were way under the radar.
Zapp and Roger.
Sheila E. definitely should be in there. Great drummer. Alicia Keys, it's too early for Alicia. We talking more like 25 years down the line for her.
No, I would say by 2030s and shit.
2030.
At
That's
least.
a long way. What's a couple? That's a couple years from now. That's a few years from now. 2030. I don't even think she'll make it by then. They look, we got artists that they haven't even inducted yet that should have been inducted like decades ago.
What about Angela Bofield?
Yeah, I think she can make it definitely. Brandy definitely. I think Brandy should make it. Drake. We talking years away here for Drake and Kendrick and Beyonce is a definite, but even with her, she might be years. Unless she announce she's retiring now, it's like it's gonna be years away for Beyonce too. They haven't gotten around to inducting people like Rick James and Shaka Khan. Who knows when Alicia Keys and Beyonce going to be inducted?
I'm
I might
saying.
be dead by we might all be dead by the time that happens. Fat Boys, right? Again, but how would they view it? We know what Fat Boys worth is. We know how these artists what their worth is. But how is the committee for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame viewing them? Are they looking at the Fat Boys like yo, like they had an overall impact on the genre? Are they looking at album sales? Cause they didn't sell a lot like Run DMC did. You know what I'm saying? But people fuck with them like they were. They did their thing. But how is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame looking at them? It's different when you look at an artist that's well respected to us, and you think like, yo, they legends to us, but to like the rest of the world, how are they looking at them?
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? So
What
like I said, like a group like EPMD. EPMD had classic albums. They were great, but they didn't go platinum a lot. And on a wider scale, what was their impact to white America? Is basically what I'm saying. Does white America look at EPMD like yo, like they were game changers? Because if they do, then they'll get a nomination. I mean, it's good to even get a nomination. To be inducted is like that's there forever. So how are they looking at EPMD? How are they looking at Fat Boys? How are they gonna look at Brandy and Monica? You know what I'm saying? A lot of them ain't gonna get in. Right now, I can tell you, Brandy got a better chance of getting in than Monica.
I agree.
Same thing with Escape. Escape is not gonna get in. Weezy, he had a lot of success. I could definitely see him get inducted at some point. Yeah, Hip Hop Hall of Fame is different because when we have our own Hall of Fame, then we could induct the Fat Boys and Houdini and EPMD, those artists. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is totally different because their own people don't want our genre in there. So and if they're gonna induct our artists, they're gonna pick and choose who to go. Everybody that they have in there now had mainstream success. Public Enemy, the Beastie Boys, especially Tupac, N.W.A., or Dr. Dre. You know what I'm saying? Biggie, Jay Z going in this year. Everybody had mainstream success that they picking. They're not picking underground artists.
It's all about the quality of the work and shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right, that too. And they all had quality of work, but they also sold records. They also
Yeah.
had a major impact to the genre and to music as a whole. When you look at a group like EPMD, even though we know that they're a great group and they had platinum albums and they were classic, they didn't go platinum like that. Like how Beastie Boys with like 5-6 million platinum, bro. EPMD wasn't doing those numbers. It's still
Yeah.
about numbers to the rock and roll community. You know, Drake is going platinum every album. He could damn near make it compared to a lot of our other artists that we think should deserve a spot in there.
Interesting.
You know, Sade definitely should have been in there.
I mean, so a few more comments I might head after tonight. Yeah, shout it definitely is.
Yeah,
I feel like 2 years from now she probably included.
definitely. Destiny's Child, I could see them in there too.
Yes. I feel like next to TLC, I could see them being there next.
Hmm. Definitely. Well, yeah, that too. It's still about skin color. But at least for our genre, especially like they're going after the mainstream success groups that sold a lot of records. They were on pop radio. They made a they made a difference in the genre. That's what they're going after.
Mm. Everybody wants to be pop.
Loose ends. I don't see them getting in.
So that's them, but yeah, I don't see them getting it either.
Barry White for sure. He's not in there.
Nah.
Oh wow. Marvin Gaye's in there.
Yes, he is.
Isaac Hayes. Al
Yes, he
Green.
is.
Yeah,
Yep.
they gotta get Barry White in there and Stevie Wonder. Those cats.
Stevie Wonder's in the Hall of Fame too.
Oh, Stevie's in there.
Yeah.
What about MTV? Who cares? MTV Hall of Fame. I didn't even know they had one. They're not relevant anymore. Why would I care about who MTV inducts? They still showing Teen Mama G. They'll have those bitches in Hall of Fame than any of our artists. MTV. I didn't know they had a Hall of Fame.
Ain't the VMAs this Sunday or some shit? On Monday?
I haven't watched the VMAs in a minute, so and it's here in Brooklyn. I haven't watched it, so I know they're giving the Foo Fighters an award. Foo Fighters, okay, they ain't got it. They got inducted. Was it last year? Year before last?
Yeah.
See, again, they're going by record sales and impact of the genre. Yes, old bitches. Bitches are like 30 with 4 kids, and they still calling them teen moms.
Stupid as fuck. But listen, I'm gonna call it a night, yo. Because I was going to sleep a little early tonight anyway. But this has been a dope ass review on Ja Rule. Just to let y'all know, Sunday we were going to do Ludacris's Word of Mouth album, and then sometime next week is going to be Laurie's album, And I guess we have a double trash reunion now on Ja Rule's last two
No,
albums.
I mean it's up to you. We don't have to do it. Like
We don't?
we're already letting you know that the two albums is trash as far as I'm
Okay.
concerned.
Yeah, all right, cool. All right, well, you want to just do the double review on the MC Shane next weekend?
Let's do that then.
Okay, cool, cool.
Let's do that.
All right, and that'll be my last week before I go on break. And I was just going to come back probably around the time I do the collection video. I'll let y'all know.
Okay.
But appreciate this try.
No doubt.
Hope everyone has a good night. Peace.
Peace.